Hi, my name is Sally Barnard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live 888-994-4995 Studio A. And now onto the show.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I guess I've already been asked to talk about Halloween. We would just say welcome to everybody who's listening to my show. By now, you know a lot about what I do, but I do think if there's any new people listening, tune in. This is going to be an amazing show today. If you know someone that might be interested in spirits from the beyond at Halloween time, maybe we can find out what's happening up between the veil here and there. Okay, so I'm going to open my show to everybody, and then let's have a fun show and get scared.
How are you doing, Sally? Sally, I'm gonna read a question that came in because I think it will surmise what we're trying to talk about today.
Okay.
It's a different aspect of Halloween traditionally and how people think about it, talk about it, and everything else. But let me read the first question.
Okay.
Emily Wilson from California writes, I had a nightmare during Halloween about my deceased grandmother. And I want you to focus on certain words on these questions, okay? Because they give you the hint of what they're trying to
Okay, I'm already at the deceased.
Why do these scary dreams only happen during Halloween, and what do you think it means?
Okay, well, that is actually an interesting question because I am going to say, first of all, it doesn't only happen at Halloween. We're just more aware of it because there's a vibrational energy, and it may be more familiar with people that may believe this, but they see or hear more at Halloween, so they're hearing and seeing scary dreams because it's a collective consciousness, I want to say. So more people at this time of the year are talking about spirits, and maybe they're not doing that during the rest of the year. So we all come together, and I truly, in my world, I'm going to call it, believe that the spirits know that because they know anniversaries, they know birthdays, but they also know Halloween, and they know that people are concentrating very much on maybe they're going to see someone. They like to play games and scare you because they're mischievous, just like we are here. They're mischievous too. Spirits can be that way. They still have personalities.
Do you think anything had to do with Emily's grandmother?
Well, without talking and feeling a vibration from her, it's possible, yes. If you can give me the last part of that question again, I'll see if I can pick up the energy from you.
She was wondering why scary nightmare dreams only happen during Halloween and if it had a certain meaning to it.
Well, again, I think I was just saying it's not only Halloween, but more people are looking for something at this particular time. They're looking to hear from someone, even though it could be scary because but their loved ones know. It's like playing a game. They're going, oh, it's Halloween, let's all show up type of thing. But they don't really want to scare you unless it's really mischievous person because they don't want us to be scared. They're not going to be scared, so they can do it. So it's no different to the rest of the year. We're just more aware of it at this time of the year.
You think the grandmother is to calm her or sending a message?
I don't want to bring something that I'm not sure because if I could feel her vibration, yes, it's possible that the grandmother could be giving a message, but it also could be somebody else too, just to show you, that they're around. Because in other words, what we're doing, and thank you, Emily, right, for the question, but we are more concentrating on maybe seeing somebody at this time of the year. So we're putting out our consciousness to a spirit that we may want to hear from, and we're thinking, well, it's Halloween. So your mind actually goes to the person that you might want to hear from. That doesn't mean that the person will show up, hopefully, but they also could show up because it's Halloween and play games with you a little bit, but not to scare you. I don't believe that.
Mental state of mind, Halloween week.
It is absolutely a state of mind. It's a collective consciousness. So if we're all thinking, and this is what this is all about, but that's another whole show here. But if we're all thinking who is going to show up, or just like we're here, like the children go to the doors, trick and treating, they're aware of it. A lot of these spirits have lived in this earth, carnation. So they know that we do this. They don't forget what we've done just because they're in another dimension. They also can remember. They remember. We don't remember a lot.
Why do you suppose so many people around this time of year are predisposed to get the bejesus scared out of them, like going to places like Halloween Horror Nights at Universal?
I truthfully, honestly don't know the whole thing. When I was a child, we actually didn't have Halloween in England. They do today, and they have for many, many years. So I really didn't pay too much attention to Halloween. I just know it's probably a very scary time of the year for everybody because that's what they expect. They expect to be scared. Now, if you'd say, well, I just want to see someone dressed as, let's say, a clown, and it's going to be funny because it's Halloween and that's what someone dressed up at, that's probably what you would have, and they may not be scary.
But clowns nowadays are very scary.
I was just going to say that, Freddie. Yes,
They're taking it to another dimension.
They actually have. So maybe that was a bad example. That was me, not the spirits that told me a clown. Let's say a fairy. Okay, we can relate to that. Yeah.
A vicious fairy.
No, it's not. The fairy would come to calm you, but they'd come in a fairy costume. If, like we were just talking about, this does not scare me at all. Whoever I might see or hear from, that I know that this is happening, I'm fine. But if I watch a scary movie, I don't particularly like it because I have no idea why. But if they think you're going to be scared, but they wanted to visit you, they'd put a fairy costume on or a regular fairy, okay?
Pagan tradition, Halloween, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Pagans, and it's funny because pagans turn negative.
And witches, there's something to do with
I think it was a pagan tradition, and it's funny because everybody looks at the pagans as being negative, but the two horns when you hold it up, all of these things came from their beliefs.
It's actually called All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but to get back to what I don't know the reasons completely why we do this, but whatever it is, spirits know that we do it at Halloween. Just like on the anniversary maybe, or our birthdays, they come to us and they can drop. If your thing is a penny, you'll find a penny on the ground. Mine is White Feather, he's around me. I'll find more feathers because that collective consciousness is going out into the universe. So it happens, it does happen.
Do relationships with people change because of this time of year? They have heightened awareness. They feel things that they didn't feel before.
I love that question. Yes, especially if you're an empath like I am, you're going to feel more. You're going to feel more scary. Because that's what is being portrayed out, and you can definitely relate to this, Dawn. I know that because if everybody is Halloween, let's get scared. I mean, that's we don't usually say that during the year. It's today, let's be scary today. But because of that, I'm going to say the collective consciousness again, the vibrations that are coming through, although they may not want to be negative, are turning into negativity.
See, for me, I never wanted to put out scary things because I felt like I was conjuring up the dead. And I was conjuring up evil. So I would never put the skeletons or the bones out on the house because I didn't want to welcome that which I did not want to welcome.
And it's funny, well, it's not funny, but that's no coincidence you say that. Because the skeletons outside where you had the other day, Steve said, take a picture of me with one of the skeletons. What did I say? No, I'm not going to take a picture of you.
I feel like it's just putting out, manifesting the wrong thing that you want to manifest.
Yeah, I wouldn't take a picture of it.
You think I'm nuts?
I think that you should see a scary movie to reset your nervous system.
Well, yeah, but I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
The spirits are getting very confused with this.
Well, let me tell you, when you yawn, you do that to reset your nervous system. You know that, right?
Well,
you can look it up. That's what they say.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I actually yawned, or I went the other day because I wasn't feeling grounded, and my immediate instinct, and I did not know that, they must have been telling me to, was to do like that, not a scream necessarily, but the same that you would do if you were screaming, and I felt much better.
If you watch a scary movie where your heightened anxiety is taken to another level, and then after the movie's over, or the fear, whatever it is, a haunted mansion or something like you had mentioned before, when you walk through that, all of a sudden you feel more calm. You're not anxious anymore because it resets your whole nervous system.
So it's really like, and this may not be the subject, but if you're like, I don't like snakes, and I've just been watching The Serpent Queen. If I see a snake, I just, to me, it does more than I think what
It petrifies you.
Yeah, absolutely beyond anything. Then I'll imagine it's everywhere in the
My
bathroom.
daughter is like that.
Terrible.
She's terrified of
However, but
snakes.
the more you expose yourself to a snake, I mean, this is more psychological, I think, but and you keep looking at it, which I can't imagine ever doing, eventually you'll get over it. But yeah, no, I think there was more to me.
Well, I know what to get you now for tomorrow for a snake. I'm
A
gonna
rubber
get you
snake?
a rubber snake, a real snake.
Oh, no, please don't.
A real snake. I'm gonna
But don't
put
you
it.
ever think, like, if you put it out there, you put the wrong thing out in the universe, and you switch the energies, then you're welcoming in the negative.
How
Yeah,
do you put the wrong thing out there?
You put out skeletons, and you put out
I agree with
totally
you.
things that are
fine.
about death, then I feel like you're giving the other side open to come
You're
play on the
inviting-
wrong side. It's like the Ouija board.
My rubber skeleton is sending the wrong message.
It
No.
could. You're just telling it because it doesn't have to be real. It's your intent of what you put out into the universe.
You're absolutely right, but you need to protect yourself with that because this time of the year, and it's a good thing to bring up actually, the more we're scaring people, you bringing out, the spirits are the same as us, the personality, if they were jokesters or whatever, good or bad, they're going to be more wanting to do it when Halloween appears.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to the effect I get like when I used to go on roller coasters, the adrenaline rush. I think that's why a lot of people like scary movies. You get that adrenaline rush and get your blood pumping.
Do you like scary movies?
I used to.
Yeah.
He's gonna go see Exorcist 3.
No, well, I mean, now I know I commute. That's true on the TV.
After you go to sleep.
But I don't. The thing is, I don't. You know, I often say I really don't have too much fear of everything that's been happening to me. I always say that. I don't. In fact, I'll go to sleep and say, whatever. I'm fine. Take me wherever you want because I've done many astral projections.
So the next time, instead of going to dinner, we're gonna go see a scary movie. Want to do that?
You can go with Steve.
No, you're coming. And
Okay.
Dawn and Chuck are coming.
All right.
I want to see her scream.
We'll make our exit as it's
You don't have not a fear, but a desire not to mess with the other side. You
I
would
don't
rather
mess
have
with any
courage than-
side. I don't know what size means.
Yeah, the
Side.
veil, because there's good angels and there's good guardians, and then there's the one that will mess with you on that side
So
too.
I'm dealing with bad angels?
Or demons, as you call them, fallen angels.
I'm dealing with fallen angels?
Didn't you say you talked to them?
Apparently, I was told,
You
Sally
don't
was told that.
necessarily want to do that, though. Now that you know, just say to your mind you do not want to talk with anybody scary.
I talk to Dawn every day. Very scary.
You have another question?
And do you see how quickly she changes the subject?
Thank
See
you,
that?
Dawn.
Yes.
That whole thing. All right, David Lee from New York City writes, I
Yeah,
saw
New York.
my late father in a vision during a Halloween party. Now, this is different. This is a vision. It's funny because we talked about this, how Dawn sometimes goes into this whole trance thing. And people looked at me when I said that, like they thought I was crazy. But you do it. Apparently, David does also. Interesting question. So David Lee from New York says, I saw my late father in a vision during a Halloween party. What message is he trying to convey? And why did I see him in this context? I'm going to broaden that question.
Yeah. It's
Why do
better
you
when
see anything? Why do I see things when I'm not asleep? Visions.
Well, because we can. That's a very simple answer. We can. If you believe that you're seeing someone and you truly believe it, I believe you definitely are.
So if I want to talk to my mom, I can visualize her and have a conversation.
Yeah, the key to this, and I've always said this, Freddie, is as long as you believe that you can, that's with anything. So long as you believe that you can do it. I could be sitting here and say, I'm going to, well, you don't necessarily see the person because then it's not like someone said a telephone, come, I want to see you. But you will see something. Hopefully it is a person. But if someone's sitting next to you says, I could never do that, guess what? They're not going to see it, no matter what it is. It's the same with anything we do. This question is very broad because whatever we want to see, and you've seen this happen many times, Steve, even with the rain. What have I been doing? I couldn't do it last night because that really came down.
Well, you ever have a conversation with your daughter who's deceased?
Yeah, in fact, I just told you I don't hear that much from her because I kind of, it's not that I don't want to, but I don't like to make anything up that I think she may have said it. So the messages I get from my daughter, I don't, necessarily go around asking people.
While you're awake.
But yeah, I hear, but I'm not sure because I want to hear from her. So someone, as Dawn, you don't mind me saying that, will tell me that my daughter's around me or she sees certain things.
Yeah, but will you have the vision?
Well, I have visions, but I don't necessarily pull in my daughter that much because again, with anybody, we could be imagining
Right.
it. I can give someone, and I do this many times, and you guys know this, if someone comes into a room, I give a name, well, not always, but a name, and it's always been very correct with the name they give me of the person that they're thinking about. I've had that many times. In fact, someone not that long ago, when I came into the studio, and I guess he wanted to hear from his father, and who had passed, and I said to him the name, I have a name, and it was his father that he wanted to hear from. So I'm more likely to pick up somebody else's vibrational energy, because for myself, it's hard. I know what my daughter might say to me, just like now, and I'm pretty sure I had that message just now. But I'm better when I give it to someone else, I guess.
Do you ever see visions when you're awake?
I see them. I don't see them standing in front of me. I'll see them in my mind. If that makes any sense.
That's what I have.
Like I don't see somebody sitting on your shoulder often, but I might see it in my mind.
Mm-hmm. That's a message.
Like they send me a picture or something in my mind.
That's
or
how
something I
see
need
it.
to see.
Yeah, she does.
You?
So is that a vision, or is just a thought you're having?
Well, that's what I don't know.
That's what we're trying to find out, Sally.
No, okay, no, she does. It's a vision.
She does
and
what?
I see, I hear. I can't tell you that I can just suddenly, someone's standing here and I'm going to describe everything about that person. I feel energy. That's what it is. You're feeling their energy, and you're an empath. So you can tell if that even in spirit, if they're upset. Well, they're not. I'm not going to say that. But if they're trying to portray something to you that might upset you, their way of doing that would make you suddenly feel upset about something.
Like last week I told you, your mom is in my mind. Your mom's trying to get in touch with you. I didn't see your mom, but it was a message that they send in my head. That she's trying to talk to you.
Well, what did she say? Well, if you saw her, why didn't you have a conversation with her?
Sometimes they tell me the message, sometimes they don't. Remember we had a
Right.
client and his dad passed away and I kept seeing tomatoes?
Okay, I don't want to, and don't be
And I,
telling me
s-
that,
and I
because
said
then
to
you're,
the
now
I
she's
said
worried.
to our client, I said, why do I keep seeing tomatoes? He said, my dad was in the produce business.
That's
and
exactly
we sold
how-
tomatoes.
That's exactly
So
how
you're
it
buying
works.
tomatoes?
I didn't buy anything, but again, the tomatoes are in my head. And this guy has been in my head.
Well,
I
then
gotta see what's going
obviously,
on.
Sally, you have to. I'm going to ask you: do you see my mom, and does she have a message for me?
Now, yes, I can do that. Not all, at will. I can, as best I can. But someone once told me, who was a psychic, before I even understood that, they said it's not like you have communication with a telephone and they're all standing around. You hope the person that you're thinking of will come through. Now, a premonition is slightly different, because you're going to see something that's going to happen. So it's just what they're wanting to show you, in other words. So a premonition and a message it comes the same way, but it's presented a different way. They're helping me out here. That's what I'm saying.
It's like,
So,
go ahead.
no, I'm saying I give messages to people, and as the conversation goes, I get a lot of names because they come around, they're noticing that, or their relative or their family member. I get mannerisms. I get a lot of mannerisms, how someone would speak or say something, a word that they may have used continually, so that it's validating that it is basically their loved one, their speech. They don't do it, they don't talk like we talk, type of thing. They just, but they're trying to get the message through. Basically, they give a lot of message to validate that they're there, that no one else could know.
Thank you.
So
So-
I couldn't necessarily know
So over the weekend, Linda found a dime, and then I found a dime.
Thank you.
that someone's trying to get a hold of you.
Well, she's the one talking to
But
my
there's
mom,
certain
so I guess
things
that
that,
dime
was
belongs
that
to
a
you.
penny? That was
It's a dime.
Okay. Did you just find it just
You
now?
just threw it at me. Thank you.
Sunday.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So,
And the funny
Well-
thing is that I had another pair of shorts on, and this morning I just put my hand in the pocket, and that dime ended up in my pants.
so that's answering the question that you were just asking me.
Mom's trying to talk to you.
They're trying to talk to you. Your mother is.
Well, I'm coming to you,
Yeah.
the operator.
Yeah, I can do that. There's a lot of vibrate because my show is not necessary. Well, you know that I've given everybody a message in here, but the show.
Well, I haven't got one.
Okay, well, it's all privately. Was your mother? I don't say she was a private person, but
My
she,
mom was.
Well, that's what I wanted to say. But however, she's coming. She is okay. I'm going to say I don't want to say she was a private person, but she is a private person, and I'm going to tell you exactly what Aldo told me because we went, which I don't often go to shows of psychics, but we did go the other day, because she's a private person, and this is very relevant, okay? Because I couldn't understand. I go to a psychic show and I don't do it. Aldo would have been the first person to come through. He knew. I was sitting there. I said, Aldo, show up. No, the message is for everybody else. Aldo never showed up. But when I got home, and I told you this, Steve, he said to me, I was a private person when I was alive. I am still a private person. So that's why the private, and I think that's why you brought your mother up, came through just now. She doesn't want to air what she's going to say to you right now here. I can tell you later. Aldo came to me after the show.
Okay.
Again, I don't necessarily give myself messages, but that was very relevant.
Just
to me.
remember, she's talking to her, not me. So,
No, she's talking to you.
or she's talking to her.
Apparently, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, although we might have not gotten the messages we were hoping for when we went to see the psychic show, he was spot on with
Oh, the guy was
everyone
amazing,
that he brought up.
Who, Joe?
No, his name was Anthony Maraca.
Very good psychic. And it was good for Steve because although I do this and give you many, many, many messages, it was good to see that this does happen with other people.
Crossing the plains. All right. Ava Patel from Texas writes, I had a recurring nightmare about monsters chasing me during Halloween. Can you explain why I'm experiencing monsters and how to stop it from happening again?
Well, I believe that you can't, even though you dream, you think it's not, we don't have any control over our dreams. And this is what I'm hearing. Absolutely we do. And many times we can get recurring dreams of monsters, of people chasing you too. It's more relevant right now because it's Halloween, so that's something that's going to happen at Halloween for this gentleman. However, when you go to sleep during the next few days, just say, I don't want to see the monster. You can stop it. It may not represent anything. They're playing games with him, probably.
Perception of the word monster.
Right.
Could it be a person? Could it be something you don't like to eat? Chocolate? Can a monster represent more than just what appears to be a monster?
My first reaction to that is the monster would offer you a piece of chocolate and then that would be possessed. I'm sorry, I told you they have personalities.
Apparently, they're
up
playing
there.
jokes. She had a jokester with her
Yeah,
today.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
a monster could be anything.
The monster could be anything. It could be someone you don't like and they're suddenly appearing. You'll say, oh, that monster's back, right?
Or it could be you, a part of you don't like.
Well, that actually is how I really wanted the show to go, because you said you'd watch something about different dimensions when they're different people. Now, I haven't seen it, but
Watch
I
it.
love those type of questions. So
Watch
maybe
it.
there's something there that we can go and follow up with that, because it's all to still do with the
Oh, no, you got to watch the movie because it talks
No,
about dimensions.
But it's more for me, if I'm telling you and I haven't seen the movie, to me it's more real because I haven't seen what you have seen. So I'd sooner talk my side of it without seeing someone else explain it.
It's funny because I almost called you when I watched it, because I watched it and I said to myself, this explains so much more what Sally is talking about, because you see it in the movie.
Well,
and
that's what I'm
sometimes
saying,
It's clearer.
because I haven't seen it, so I would be relating to what the questions I'd sooner, if you can give me some questions on that, and then we can talk more about that. I can't
About
do
the
it on my
movie?
own. about what you saw that you said you wanted me to know. If you ask me anything, maybe about the dimensions.
But then I give away the movie.
I'll watch it for you, Sally, and I'll do a book report for you.
Okay.
You want me to give you a
But you can
question
ask-
related to the
yes,
movie? I can
yes,
do
that's
that.
what I mean. Give me a question.
You ever know? Do you know why psychiatric wards are full of people walking around in a stupor? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Over medicated.
Well, that could be one
Well,
reason.
let's
They
assume that they walked in there that way,
Lovely question. Well,
and
it's
the
not a lovely
medication is to
question.
try to stabilize their blood pressures and all that. But let's assume they don't have any medication for the benefit of this question. Do you understand why they walk around in that state?
Yeah, that's a good question. I can't say lovely question because you don't want to see anybody like that. But that was a good question relating to what we're talking about. Unfortunately, mental illness has a stigma to it. So anybody that's saying something slightly what other people may not agree with, and we know about this from years and years ago when they burnt witches, they think it's not normal. But it might be normal. So what they do is they medicate you. So the people coming in are actually trying, in my view, what I see, sometimes to convey what I'm actually talking about now. But because of their surroundings where they are, they're labeled, and they're really coming to me with this, they're labeled that. So even the person who is hearing this is now saying, I better take the medicine, I don't want this to happen. But a lot of people in mental hospitals, especially with schizophrenia, I'm not saying everybody, but you only see that side. They don't stop to listen to what they're talking about. Right away, we're medicated.
But what
So
about?
I feel very strongly about
But
this.
what about? So let's not use schizophrenic. Let's not use any titles.
Okay.
You have an individual who's in this what is that?
Comatose.
Comatose state.
Mm-hmm.
They walk, their eyes blink, but they're not speaking. It's like they're in another dimension.
Well, that's also possible because there are many sides to that. If someone isn't talking, there are reasons that they're not talking.
this
but
is the
they're
side
not
I'm
here
talking about.
completely. That's a good question.
That's the
I like
side
it.
I'm talking about.
Okay, that's a perfect question.
And
for
then
this.
you take a murderer, somebody. What do you call that when you kill a lot of people and they can't find you?
Serial killer?
A serial killer who has a mental reason why they're doing what they do. That's the evil side.
Yeah.
And you put them in the same room with somebody who's walking around a ward
Okay, let's
in a dream.
Can we split that question? Because the first part, you said, are they in different dimensions? I'm not necessarily saying the person that's the serial killer, and I mean, this is all to do with brain, I know, which has always interested me actually, is coming from a different place, perhaps, than the person that's walking around that isn't quite grounded here. They both may not be grounded to do these evil things. However, there are other dimensions that we go to. So here, but there's many aspects. It'll take a few minutes. Okay, there are many aspects of ourselves. Just because we're sitting here doesn't mean to say that we're not somewhere else. Okay, so we could be here, and I heard this, when I first heard this, I thought Aldo, who explained this to me, was crazy. But the more and more that I begin to understand it, I see that. This is my core place right now. I'm here. I remember I'm answering your questions. But there is also, for anybody that may understand this a little bit, it's complicated, very difficult to understand. There are other aspects of ourself at the same time, because there's no time. So what I'm doing here, another part of myself is somewhere else. So you mentioned, the only thing you mentioned to me about this, that there were 5 different
Dimensions.
well, actually, yeah, there are more, but let's just talk about a few dimensions. So whilst you might, I don't want to say commit a murder, let's say that you might do something off the wall, that you would know that you did it. And you come back and you grounded yourself here, although you're still there. There's a cross. This is I can explain it, but it's a little complicated. There's
Well,
a crossover.
I want to stay with the murder, because the murder in this movie, the murderer.
Okay.
The murderer. We gotta take commercial.
Oh, okay. All right.
We'll come back after the commercial.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll see you. I'm sure you'll come back and listen to this conversation. I'll see you in a few minutes.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Barnard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came into the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and a grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest into art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed a paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she is able to astral a project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life and direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today, authorhouse.com and amazon.com.
Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Barnard, and you can find my book at authorhouse and amazon.com or visit my art on my clothing in my boutique at artbysallybarnard.com. Now back to the show. Yeah, exactly. Seeing is believing.
You're back.
Hi, I'm back. We actually lit some candles, but they're lights. But that's okay. It's the attempt.
So getting back to the question. So you have a murderer
Okay.
who's completely tied up in the psych ward.
Okay.
He has on the straitjacket. He cannot get away. Chains. He's up against the wall. He can't get away. But he's able to travel
Yeah.
to these people
Absolutely.
in this state. And they're the ones committing the crime.
Okay, he's passing on. Yeah, okay, I can see that. I understand. It's best that I can. I'll explain that. I haven't seen the movie.
But they could not find the original killer because every murder had a different DNA, had a different this, a different that.
Well,
There
that
was no
is a
pattern.
good way of explaining, in a way, what I was just talking about. Because let's say this is your core existence. So I hate using, because it's such a negative, the guy that's all tied up in a straitjacket. But let's say he's all tied up, as you had said, in the straitjacket. He's not going anywhere in this dimension.
But he kept
But
talking
he
about...
can, of course he can, because
it was him.
He comes out of his body, because we
Yes.
can do that. And I haven't seen the movie, but just how I would explain it this way, and I just don't like the idea of a murderer there. But he's coming out of his body, and he's portraying exactly to the other aspect of himself the same. This doesn't happen that much because you can be someone entirely different, but I can see how that can happen to someone else. But normally when it got back to him and they asked him what did he do, he would know, but the other one might remember,
The other people
one might
won't
not.
know anything.
I was just going to say one might not know anything.
They don't know
So
either.
he would have, in other words, they asked him, like, I don't know, I haven't seen the movie, but I can give you a situation that could be similar, where they could ask them that they wanted the clues, so to speak, of something. You know what this is reminding me of? The Silence of the Lamb. And I could not watch that movie because of the mask. So I'm
But
getting
the Silence
same.
of the Lamb is a different catch.
Yes, I know, but I'm seeing the scenario of the guy with the mask on for some
But if
reason.
it'll give you any help, Sally, just before the show, I read the synopsis of the movie that Frey's talking
Okay.
about, The Exorcist 3. And it's about a serial killer who was put away, and largely by this one doctor. And now he's coming back to haunt the doctor that helped put him away. Is that about?
Yes, that can happen
fair,
because it's
right?
another
Yeah.
aspect of himself, let's say, that is free to do that. The guy that's all tied up doesn't mean he has to stay tied up. He can leave his body and go into another. I traveled myself. I was laying in bed. The me that anyone would have seen is me in bed. But I wasn't, because I was traveling somewhere. I didn't meet any murderers, thank goodness. But I was in other planets, so I absolutely can see that could happen.
Well, being that it's Halloween and there's always these ghoul movies and things, you know, if you go and you see all the missing children, all the missing people,
Okay.
people that are just missing. In the post office, they got thousands. In the police departments,
There
they
are
got thousands of
I've
people.
just heard about
If
this.
you call their parents or whoever reported them missing, they never saw them again.
Okay, can I explain to you? It's funny that you brought that on. It's not funny because it's sad, but I was watching a program the other day, and it's what I absolutely believe. There are thousands and I just watched it 2 days ago because I related to how this could happen, of people missing. They can't report everyone missing. Missing, I told you, Steve, the other day, missing planes that disappear, cars that disappear. They're just no more. They're going into another dimension. Absolutely 100%. There is no way we're being, we can say abducted because there's other dimensions out there. So there's this is getting complicated. It could be another show. But the Earth itself has portals that you can go through, and there are lots of different ones you can go through. To me, this explanation of what they were talking about made much more sense than suddenly someone disappearing, because how do you? But they're going and they're getting caught up in another portal where they are in now another dimension. Scientists are beginning to understand this and prove this, and I totally believe it. You can have a child with you. This is cases too. Suddenly the child can walk through. They're not everywhere. I don't want to scare everybody that everywhere you go, but they do exist. And the child suddenly isn't there. It doesn't necessarily mean that child was kidnapped. Or the adult. You never hear from them again. Never. Because they don't come back.
They don't come back.
And this is being proven by scientists today on this show, which explained a lot to me. I knew about this because Aldo had explained things to me about this, but I'd never actually seen it portrayed on a show. This wasn't a movie, this was true life, what I was watching, once again on Gaia. There are many situations now that they're beginning to see. That there's maps. We don't see them, but they kind of know now where a lot of these portals are. If you happen to be unfortunately unlucky enough because you can't come back to tell the story, you've gone, you've disappeared. Doesn't mean that they died as we know death, no.
So we've been talking about dimensions up to the fifth dimension, but as you've told me, and I also saw, there are higher dimensions, 6 through 9.
Yeah, there are.
What exists in those dimensions?
I'm going to say you don't know what you don't know. So whatever I might say, we haven't experienced it here. But in order, what is very popular right now, and people are beginning to understand that, we're going from the fifth, from the third to the fifth. The fourth is kind of like working it all out. You've got to get to a certain point it's vibrational energy, till you raise your energy to go to the fifth. It does not accept people on a lower vibration. That's the easier, telling me that's the easiest way to put it. So if you still have anger here, or you can't forgive, you can't do many, many things, and you're trying, it's very difficult to raise that vibration and go where we're going to go. Earth is doing this right now. So I love this topic. And many people are beginning to understand this. So as long as in other words, you want to take yourself and see, because it's karma, we come back until we can get it right. So right now is the best time to be alive. And I've heard this so much. We've come here to get rid of a lot of the things that we've had over many, many lives. Not everyone is going to get it, but I tell you what, if you can, it's going to be good, because eventually you will. You'll keep trying until you do get it. The Earth, look what's happening on Earth today. It's horrific. But if you can overcome these things, it's going to be a better world.
I said that to someone the other day. I said, I think you had a relationship with this other person in a past life, because something about your karma and theirs doesn't work. I said, so you guys either got to figure it out, or you're going to come back in the next lifetime and go through it again.
Perfect. No, and that's exactly what I'm
saying.
saying.
Well, what do you mean? I said, because this person aggravates you over and over again. And there's something about it that I think is from a past life.
So, you know that expression, let go with love? And I've heard that many times, but it's making more and more sense. You don't have to put up anybody. It's not abuse. That's different. But if there's karma between you, if you can kind of, it's very difficult to forgive that and understand this a little bit more. It's easier to forgive. But if it gets abusive, there's reasons for that too, but we're staying on the love part right now.
Because if you meet somebody and your energies just clash.
They do, but that's done for a reason.
And it may not clash with anybody else in the room,
That's
but your
right.
energies clash
That's
over
right.
and over again. For
That's
me,
right.
there's a reason of your souls aren't connecting, or there's an energetic something that just doesn't connect.
So that kind of brings into the conversation we're having. That's a very good
Except
example.
Freddie will talk to the demon that agitates my spirit, and he'll have the whole conversation.
Well,
and say,
actually,
"It's
what
okay."
he's doing, in a way, isn't a bad thing, because he's trying to dispel what's already happening.
But even if they're physically sitting in here and they've got an energy that rubs me the wrong way, that I don't tolerate, he welcomes the conversation.
Well, actually, that's basically if you can do that, but you don't want to continue whatever it is. You need to settle it. And it is one of the hardest things to do, actually, because if you don't, when you're on the other side,
The demon chatter, the demon talker.
you're going to have that conversation with that person anyway and say, look, it didn't work out from the other side's point of view. We need to come back and do it. We'll do a different scenario. So that person could be many, many different things in many lifetimes to come with the same aggravation if you don't figure it out.
But do you think it's them, or do you think they have a guide?
No, our
That
guides
is
can't
agitated.
interfere with that.
Oh, they
No, they
can't.
cannot interfere with that. We
Interesting.
have free will. Our guides will help us through that. They'll help us understand as we
But
should.
they can't be agitators in a situation?
No, they can't. They can do different. They can't. They can't interfere. We have free will. They can help you over it, but I don't think unless you've got something like a demon. Let's use a demon.
Again.
Yeah.
First of all, Sally, it's not that I talk to anything. It's that she won't talk to things. So it appears that I will. It has nothing to do with anything.
I get that actually.
You know, the bottom line here is measure what you will do by what you won't do,
But
and then it won't look like I'm doing.
Didn't I just say I think you're helping actually the situation? I remember saying that, Freddie.
Make sense?
No, I said
Sort
that.
of.
If you run back this, I was saying that.
She gets it.
Some ways you're actually helping the situation.
Yes,
but
he
there's
does.
but because you're trying to settle the situation. If you just say, "Oh, I can't mess with that," or "Don't, I don't want to hear it," you're not helping yourself at all. So really, the best thing to do is talk it out, whatever the situation. It could be anything. Talk, because talking something out is so much better than keeping this frustration in, and it's going to keep repeating on anybody that has a problem, and most people do.
Just work it out.
Work it out. Yeah, because then
Interesting.
otherwise you're holding karma
get it?
again. That can come back in many different lifetimes if you don't settle it.
Well, if you're here to learn something, learn it. Don't
Yeah, but
be
it's not- it's-
closed-minded.
As long as you understand that,
Well-
which you do because you just said it. We're
I
on a
guarantee
journey.
you, if you don't try, you ain't gonna understand it.
That yes, and it will keep showing up even in this. Let us forget other lifetimes. In this particular situation that you may have, and it repeats itself, it's going to maybe even repeat itself with another person, so that eventually you're going to get it in this lifetime, on the one we're in, or any lifetime that you're in. Until you correct it, it is not going to go away, and that involves other people.
You either
too.
get it or you get got.
Well, you're going to keep coming back, and
But
it's
that's
just
to get
gonna
got.
be that. Well, yes, that's a saying too. Yeah.
Because if you don't learn the lesson of it, then it's going to repeat
So
itself.
why? Because if you don't learn the lesson, what in the world have you learned?
The funny thing is that the other people will ask, why do we have to learn the lesson?
That's fine, because we're here on a journey, and
But
we're
why?
here basically because the end of this journey, and let's say even on the fifth dimension, is the word love. Love is very important. It's not the love as we say where you're fixated on somebody. It's unconditional love. And once you can overcome that love, and you've got that, you've worked everything out in this 3D. Then you get to the 5D. But guess what? You may have love, and everything is the way that it is. Beautiful there. But there's still going to be something else, because guess what? There's more dimensions.
So if Steve wanted to end the journey, that's it, I don't want to learn no more, and he ended the journey, that's it, there'll be no more journey?
Well, no, it doesn't. Yes and no, because if you're on a journey, and it's an interesting subject actually, because if you suddenly start a book, let's say, and you just suddenly close it, you kind of want to go back to see how it all works out, right? Whatever it is. Life here is the same. Here we can say, never want to come back. I'm done with that. However, when you're on the other side of this and you're actually looking at what you've done, you'll go, I've got to go back and do that again. I've got to settle that so that I can reach a higher dimension. You understand that from the other side. Only from what you've learned here. You're not going to suddenly see everything. I don't believe that. I think you have to put in your time here once you've signed up for incarnation.
Do you come back the same way you left?
Well, yes.
Or am I going to be a dog or a goldfish? Or
Oh
something?
no, you mean can you be an animal or a,
I mean, when you come back, how do you come back?
you come back, you're coming back in not the same body and it's not the same sex. But you come back with
back
a
as a
lot
girl.
of karma or a lot more to learn, Freddie. This is actually very interesting, and I can understand as best I can to explain this. But you come back, I think, with a very similar personality. Your personality doesn't necessarily change. If there's anybody out there that may know different, please let me know. But I believe
So
that.
you come back with the same personality.
So I'm
Well,
wondering, so the
similar.
other side, right? And they look down and they see their family mourning, or they see you looking for a lost object. Can they send you the message
Yeah, but they do that with signs and symbols, which we've been talking
and
about.
only hope that you can understand the messages?
Well, if you're aware that they're probably trying to give you a message, I can talk about it actually, when my ex-husband died, and most amazing. I'll mention it. He died about 3.5, 4 years ago, and I went to the celebration of life. We were still very good friends, and we got there. I was with Margaret at the time, so she saw what happened. We sat at a table. Now, I could have been probably imagining that if the next thing hadn't happened. I said to Margaret, this table, there was a lot of people there. I said, this table is shaking, but nobody could see it shaking, but I could feel it shaking. So then they had like a dinner in another room. So we were talking to people because they knew me. I was his ex-wife, and I was talking. So I got late into going into the other room, again with Margaret and one other lady. So there were 2 seats at one table available and one at another. So the other girl went to the other table. There was nothing else left but the 2 seats on this table with about 10 people sitting there. And as we're talking, I didn't get to say goodbye to my ex-husband because he was in hospice and I wasn't able to get there because it would have been too late. So this couple, she looked at me, the guy looked at me, he said, "Oh my gosh, you're Sally," just like this. And I said, yeah. I wondered what he was going to say to me. He said, his name was Roy. He said, I got to speak to Roy just before he passed, and this is going to make me sad because you see something slightly different. He wanted to tell you how much he loved you.
Wow.
I couldn't believe what they just said. And I said, he didn't have the chance to tell me that, but and Margaret saw this whole thing happen. A couple who I didn't know, who knew me and knew me as Sally, I sat at their table and they're telling me that Roy loved me, which I knew, but we just weren't suited with each other.
You
we
knew
were
her as
divorced.
Sally as opposed to...
Zena.
No, it was Sally. But what a thing to happen at a celebration of life. He didn't get to tell me those words,
Right.
but somebody else, it came through
Can you
someone
tell me
else.
how many lives you've lived?
No.
Can you tell me how many Steves?
I cannot, but I can tell you that it's many, many, many lives. Many lives. I'm going to say up to 1,000 perhaps. It depends on the individual. We're not just here.
Steve has been lived 1,000 also?
I can't answer. I could if I can't because
You live with Steve. Don't you know his past life?
there are many lives. You're only going to bring into this lifetime what we need to know from this lifetime. I know a lot about this because Aldo knew me from another lifetime and another lifetime. In fact, I was a man in another lifetime in wars years ago. He told me that I cut his head off. Yeah. So he kept telling me, you're angry with me, I'm angry with you, you shot my head off. But I used to get annoyed. I don't remember, so how can you accuse me of that? But you're only going to bring in what's relevant for this lifetime from another lifetime.
We've determined from conversations we've had and things we've seen in movies on TV that we had a life together in show business.
Yeah, I think we all did, actually.
Around the turn of the century.
Well, we were gypsies.
Last century.
Dancing around a fire pit is not.
Well, I definitely know. I know
thieves.
our lifetime from way back, right? But I think we had another. I think the four of us, especially the Moulin Rouge, we relate to that. Yeah.
The who? The what?
The Moulin Rouge in Paris. I don't know. Was Freddie there or not?
No, I wasn't.
He was the ringmaster.
I think
No, I
so.
wasn't
Yeah,
there.
I see him as that.
No, that wasn't me. That
Excuse me.
wasn't me.
Again, my voice goes.
That wasn't me. And I think that Dawn was like this
Dancer.
witch of the warlocks.
No,
Which,
I do believe. More we talk about that, I do believe we were there, and that's not that long ago from this lifetime, actually.
About 20 minutes ago.
No, it's another dimension, let's say.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, more?
Me.
Yes. So you can see other people's lives, past lives?
No, if they come to me for a reading and I'm concentrating on that
And you can do
particular
that?
person, I can do past life readings. I have done
But
that.
sometimes your soul just feels connected to people, and
That's right.
sometimes it feels totally wrong, and then other times it's just neutral. Right?
And,
you can
and
meet
you
people
can
all
have
day long.
tremendous, oh, I don't want that person near me for no apparent reason. Or you want to go up and hug somebody, right? I know you. I know you. How many times has that happened in the studio? I mean, I'm Alicia. She openly
You wanna
says I
hug
was her-
everyone.
Yeah, and no, I was Alicia's. Well, I don't know if she minds me saying this. She listens to the show, but they don't know that I was her daughter. She always says hello, daughter. I always say to you, you say hello, mother, to me.
Alicia who?
Alicia.
Well, I don't know if she-
Alicia.
Yeah.
Alicia.
She
always
says you're her
refers to me
daughter?
as her daughter from another lifetime, yeah.
Marie Antoinette?
But you always refer to me as your mum, and I absolutely know that lifetime.
Even my mom thinks you were my mom.
Yes, even her mother thinks that I was her mother. She said, I knew you from, your mother, one of the first things she said, I knew you from another lifetime. That was Dawn's mum.
See, but my mom loves snakes.
Oh my God, maybe she,
She thinks she was back in Egypt in a past lifetime.
well, I've got to show you the drawings that I've done of Egypt, with especially the one that your mum has hanging on her wall. I did that drawing. I haven't yet shown it. I have to take a
Sorry, we
picture.
digress, Freddie. There's another question at hand.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm fascinated by the fact that you people think you know each other. You don't know who the
Yeah.
hell you are. Interesting. Sophia Rodriguez from Illinois. I dreamt of a loved one warning me about something during Halloween. Is this a warning sign, and what can I do to protect myself from it? Or is this just another vision?
Okay, no, I do believe that this was a warning. This was a premonition dream. Sticking to this completely, yes. What do you do? The last question was, what should she do?
To protect herself.
Face it, see it, and know that it's not going to happen. Acknowledge it, though, because whether it is a premonition or it's not, it doesn't matter at this point. I think you need to acknowledge that and be aware of it and disperse it. Say, go, this is not going to happen to me. That's how I really feel very strongly about someone having that.
So warnings come in.
Warnings come in.
Well, what if you have a dream about another person in a warning?
Okay.
Do you tell them? Do you not tell them? Do you ask them the question? Because what if they say, oh, it's none of your business?
Well, acknowledge it for sure. You have to. How you deal with the other person is up to that person, depending on what they've seen in that, in their premonition. But yes, I wouldn't ignore it. Absolutely. Depending how you're going to approach the other person is up to the individual, how they're going to handle it. But I believe if someone has a premonition like that, or anybody about, doesn't necessarily have to be Halloween. It could be anything. Always acknowledge it, whether it's true or not doesn't matter. At least acknowledge it.
Yeah, okay.
You got another
Oh, I feel
No.
something here. Oh, I feel something. It's Halloween, guys. Come in and figure this out.
On a lighter note,
Yeah.
I can only remember one recurring nightmare that I had as a child. It hasn't happened in a long time, but it was recurring. And I was being chased by aliens, and they were all wearing my brother's pajamas.
And we're back to that.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
back
you brought
to that.
that up a few times, Steve. I think this is something that's done something to
He
your
has
psyche.
something with his
here.
pajamas.
It's done something to his psyche. We need to disperse this. Oh.
Oh, well, I have nothing else to add to that.
Those pajamas could be your personalities. How many were there?
How many? That's very true, yes. Thank you. How many were there?
Many?
A number of them.
So that could be what we were just talking
It's
about.
always
Yeah,
personalities.
but it's not always the same, though. They wouldn't be wearing the same clothes on the lighter
But
side.
I think the interesting thing is that I remember that from my childhood.
Well,
I
that goes
remember
back to
nothing-
something, that
no
was an
other
important
nightmare.
issue. That was something important. Are we
Yeah, more
coming to the...
Okay,
All right,
another
let's ask one more. This is the one I wanted to finish with. Alexander Kim from New Jersey writes, I dreamt of a mysterious figure during Halloween. Can you help me understand why this figure came to see me during this time and how to navigate its challenges?
Well, actually, it's kind of continuing what we were just talking about. Acknowledge that. if you know what if there's some sort of outline, of course I'm not talking, they're not here right now, if you recognized anything that distinguishes this person from somebody else, if you see that, or don't get scared, it was some sort of premonition again. Maybe this person had long hair or short, whatever it is, or thick glasses. If you happen to see something like that, they were preparing you for something that could be good, it may not be. I always like to be positive and say it was something good. That person was going to come to them and explain the rest of what they saw. I think
It's an interesting perspective.
yeah.
Maybe
I have the
it's-
Halloween spirits with me right
Is that
now.
what it
They're
is?
telling me.
The Headless Horseman.
No,
Sally,
they
how do
did-
people get your book?
Okay, they need to go on to
Amazon or Author House.
Right.
You can scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen. Get a copy of Call Me Zena.
And it's really worth getting. I don't talk too much about my book, but especially as I'm here to answer the questions, which what we're doing right now. If there's something in my book that I personally experienced, call me. Let me know. Call the studio. If you're local, come in and talk with me. And obviously, I know what I put in the book, so I can explain in detail more of what necessarily I had not put in the book at that particular time. So anybody, the Brooklyn Cafe, it's here open to anybody that wants to walk in, right? And they want to ask questions, or to your amazing shows that you have all day, and in the evening too.
But I'm amazed because knowing what one of your past lives are, and you look at your artwork now, I'm looking at what you're wearing right now.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
Yes,
it kind of ties it all in
Yes, it
if you're
does.
aware of past lives. So if someone comes to you and they want to know what their past life is, you can do a past life regression.
Absolutely, I can. Yes, I can. And I'm not saying that this would happen, but a lot of times when we've experienced that here, they were meant to be here because it may be someone here, it could be you, it could even be Freddie that you were meant to meet. So someone that might be coming for a past life reading with me is going to look at you maybe, say, oh my gosh, here we are again.
Here we are
Reality
again,
of life.
Freddie. Imagine doing
Yeah,
it
but
again.
many people believe this, and we do it's not just us, people recognize each other, so
But
it's
what-
worth a shot.
What life comes through if Steve's had 1,000 lives?
The one that would be relevant for this life. That's an interesting question, because I asked Alda the same. If we've had all these, not everyone's had thousands of lives. Some people may only have had 2, and they're just beginning their journey on Earth. But if it's relevant, whatever it is will come up in this particular life, because that's the one we're experiencing right now.
No wonder I'm so tired all the time. I've lived 1,000 times.
Too many
Well, you may
lives.
not. I don't think you have. You could have been on another planet.
Or you talk to all your other lives, and it's a tiring thing.
Yeah. So I think that's the end of the show today. I'll see you guys
Interesting.
next week.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. You never know what's going to happen. You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Barnard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you can always seek me out for resources by visiting artbysallybarnard.com. Join us next week, Mondays at 2:30. Have a blessed day.